Welcome to the Grow Your Law Firm podcast, brought to you by Pilma. This podcast helps lead lawyers to more growth, profit, and freedom. Here is your legal marketing expert and host, Ken Hardison.
Well, hello, everyone. This is Ken Hardison, and welcome to another episode of Grow Your Law Firm. And today we have the honor and privilege of having Richard Grungo.
Yes, good afternoon.
How you doing, Richard? And he's with the law firm of Grungo and Colarulo out of New Jersey. And this is going to be a special one. We're not going to be talking about law and maybe a little bit about marketing, but we really want to talk today about the metaverse because this intrigues me to no end, because I always like to share what's the cutting edge, and this looks very cutting edge to me on how lawyers can use this to help in their practice of law and just how you use it and everything. So first, Richard, I just want you to tell us your story, how you got into law, what you do now, and then we'll get right in. Then we'll go into the metaverse and how you got into that. But this is about you. It's not about me. So I want to really hear your story and how you got into all this. But I want to hear about your law firm too.
Fair enough, Ken. I'll give you a summary and certainly give you more detail. I'm a trial attorney. We're a trial attorney firm. We're a trial firm. We do personal injury. We do employment discrimination. We're based in New Jersey and Pennsylvania. But my background, I tell everybody, my best education was bartending down the Jersey Shore. I spent about 12 summers bartending down the Jersey Shore, convincing people to tip me, kind of like convincing a jury to give money to a stranger who was injured, right? So I tell everybody my best education came from bartending down the Jersey Shore. I got to understand and learn people in their best and their worst, sometimes scenarios. But I was a bartender. I went to law school in St. Joe's in Philadelphia. I was with a large law firm for about 16 years, quietly doing plaintiff's work. It was a big defense-oriented law firm, but that's where I got to hone my trial skills and take some chances on cases I probably never would have taken on my own. 7 years ago, myself and my business partner, Bill Colarulo, started Grungo Colarulo. We are a plaintiff's personal injury firm. We have grown from 2 attorneys to 7. We have over 30 in support. We are focused, we have values that we live and breathe by, and it's about taking care of our people so we can take care of others. Our culture is our greatest asset. But so it's been 7 years. The firm is doing very well. But a few years ago, I started seeing articles or watching movies, and the word metaverse kept getting mentioned. And then you saw not too long ago, Facebook changed their name, and the umbrella company now is Meta. And obviously they pushed all their chips in on this. So last year, as I continued to watch these articles come out, we took the opportunity to invest in the metaverse and open up the first plaintiff's personal injury law firm in the metaverse. And the metaverse is something that is not well defined. People are using it in different ways, and we can talk more, Ken, and I can certainly answer any questions you have about it. But we could spend a long time talking about the metaverse and its implications for the future, because it is the bleeding edge, it is the cutting edge, and it is changing advertising and marketing, not just for law firms, but for everyone. There is a reason they are calling the metaverse Web 3.0, and we can talk about that today for sure.
Okay, good deal. So for our listeners out there, what would be, if you were trying to explain it to a 12-year-old, how would you explain what the metaverse is?
They would understand better than us, because really the games, it's all about gaming. That's the evolution. So the metaverse, the easiest way to understand it, and my 12-year-old would know, is the games Roblox, Minecraft, Fortnite. Are you familiar with any of these games, Ken?
Yes, I got a 16-year-old stepson, so yes.
So they've been playing these games for years. These games have been around for 10 years, but years ago, my daughter, who is now 12, would be hitting me up for money to buy skins. And they're digital article of clothing. I don't know if you know this, Ken, but I don't know how much money I spent on digital articles of clothing. Well, that world, that gaming world has evolved, and there is lots of commerce being conducted within those games, but now it's expanded into other worlds. And that's what the metaverse really is. It's these digital worlds that are kind of evolving, and they're creating these little communities or ecosystems. And there's a number of different ones. So when we talk about metaverses, arguably Roblox, Minecraft, and those types of things are metaverses, but the big ones people are talking about now is Decentraland Decentraland, and the reason they call it Decentraland is supposed to be a decentralized type of organization. There's some technical terminology. They call it a DAO, which means it's supposed to be run by its members, and members are people who own property. And we, as a law firm, bought property last year, and we built, and we talk about explaining it to a 12-year-old. My 12-year-old built our first office in the metaverse because she was familiar with the building concept in these other games. And it is really remarkable the response we've had to that, because so many people ask, what is the metaverse? They don't understand it. But once they start to think about it, and then they start to see what's going on in the world, JP Morgan calls this $1 trillion market opportunity in the next few years. That's JP Morgan. They opened up a place in the metaverse. Ken, let me just try to put a fine point on what the metaverse is. They call it Web 3.0. So if you go back in time, Web 1.0 was the internet. That's where we connected people to information. Then you have Web 2.0, and that's social media, where we connected people together and information. Now, Web 3.0 is the next logical extension, where we're connecting people, things, location, information, and it's about an experience like no other. And it's through a digital avatar, because here in this world, or these digital worlds, there's boundless possibilities. You're only limited by your imagination. Does that help explain what the metaverse is?
Yeah. So how would a law firm use this, though? Why would they want to use this?
Yeah, so if you look at cutting edge technology, and again, when we say the metaverse and we're talking about Web 3.0, metaverse is a term used to kind of capture a lot of things, but really what this is kind of the culmination, or at least the gathering of technology. The metaverse is built on blockchain technology, NFTs, non-fungible tokens, smart contracts. These are all the technological advances that are coming together to allow this world. And so the question is how do a law firm, or frankly, how does any business benefit from this place? So it's a digital environment. The amount of people in this world is not overwhelming, but it's growing. So if you follow the music industry or the art industry, they're usually on the cutting edge of playing with technology. And of course, COVID accelerated everybody's foray into the digital world. So even though the kids are comfortable there, other people got more comfortable there. Look how we do Zoom now. It's crazy. So the bottom line is that everything got accelerated, and the comfort level with the digital world is there. But all the big fashion retailers are there. There are every day there's articles of big clothing companies cutting deals, because this is what they envision. The movie is Ready Player One. It's a couple of years ago. It's a very good watch about the future. But in the gaming world, you can go into a store, a digital store, with your digital avatar. And let's say you wanted to purchase a digital pair of Nikes for your avatar, so you could walk around with the latest, greatest Nikes in the digital world. Well, when you hit purchase, you purchase that NFT, you own it, it's a digital asset. Now you wear those digital Nikes around the world, but at the same time, a real pair gets sent to your house. This is the economy that's developing. The exchange of these NFTs, these digital assets, cryptocurrency. This is all part of the world we're evolving to. And by being in the metaverse, you're learning this world. So, it's forcing you to understand these concepts that are growing quickly. So any business that is there is exposing themselves to another community. Fashion Week was held in Decentraland, Ken, a few weeks ago. They had 100,000 unique visitors. 100,000. There was probably 60 brands there. Now, that's not a lot of people, but I guarantee you when we look next year, that number will be 10 times that number. The number's growing every day. You know how many law firms are in the metaverse right now, or claim to be? A handful, less than 10. So again, you and I may not be comfortable walking around and behind a digital avatar, but a lot of people will be, and certainly this generation that is coming will be comfortable interacting. And the way we've been thinking about it from a law firm perspective is sometimes we deal with very sensitive issues. So sometimes people may just want to explore, get questions answered, and this is just another channel to do it. They can walk into our office, with their avatar. They can hit our YouTube channel, our Facebook channel. They can, go to our website and then contact us. But where this goes in the future, whether you're having client meetings there, whether you're doing other things there, mediations, time will tell. But I'm sure we'll see it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So it's sort of like all this TikTok and stuff. I mean, somebody my age not really into it, but hey, listen, you gotta change with the times. You got to go where your ideal client is, and if that's what your ideal client wants, then that's where you got to be, right?
Yeah, it's another channel. I remember doing, videos for my website and saying, this isn't what I should be doing. And the director says, this isn't about what you want. So it's not about whether or not I would go into this world to find a lawyer. The question is whether people are going there, and they are. And it's funny because, we talked about social media and Web 2.0. I have people that haven't liked one comment on any of our social media posts. They're taking selfies in the metaverse in front of my office and sending them to me because they're interested. It's new, it's exciting. And honestly, the possibilities are boundless, Ken, because you're not limited. You can do anything you want there. I have in my office building next to us, there's a shark walking around on the second floor. Sounds silly, but it highlights the point. Anything's possible there.
So you've set up this metaverse because I read about you in the ABA Journal, and that's what got me want you to be on our podcast. So how are you using it right now? Are you actually meeting clients on there, or?
No, not yet. Not yet. Will it happen in time? I'm sure it will. What we have seen is obviously a ton of interest. So there's been a lot of publicity, which is great in and of itself, but it's beyond that. It's not just a gimmick. This is here to stay. And I know we're out ahead of this, and I know it's early on, but I heard someone say the other day, if this thing becomes big in 5 years from now, well, I'm going to be able to say we've been here exploring for 5 years. So we're going to know the ground, the lay of the land. And so what we have seen is a lot of interest from other attorneys and other professionals who want to be in this space. It's just figuring out how. And we've been now at it for a period of time. We've stumbled a few times, but we're figuring out how to get into this world, explore. And we are now in the process of developing different events because the key is going to be another community. Right? So you have your community here of attorneys and firms you work with. This will be another community of whether it's forward-thinking attorneys or forward-thinking clients, or frankly, other businesses. We've had, simply being in this space, been approached by many other different legal and or other industries, just simply wanting to think and collaborate and brainstorm on how they can get involved. So it's been really interesting on those fronts.
So this central land.
Decentraland.
That's is there so much just real estate out there, and then once it's gone, so is that going to be something that's going to raise in value too?
Sure. Well, so it's an investment. So, it's not a cheap investment, so it depends. It's a market issue. So so Decentraland is one of these worlds. There's another called Sandbox. You may have read about Snoop Dogg. Yeah. Snoop Dogg has a piece of property in Sandbox. I think it's valued over $4 million now. That anybody who buys around Snoop Dogg is paying more money because he's increased this digital property around him. So, yes, it's a real estate investment. In fact, we created and launched another business as a result of this because we had so many people interested and so many people challenged by entering the space. We created a company to help law firms and law-related businesses get in, and it's called lawcity.com. We've built towers. We've built towers now, and we have a number of tenants, Ken. We call them legal pioneers.
Lawcity.com. So you're building them, but this is not like Sandbox or the Courtland. This is something else, or is this just another?
No. So in Decentraland, we bought property. We built our office for Grungo, Colorado. We did that last December, and we were the first, as far as we know, personal injury firm to do it. Then as a result, and the response we got and the challenges that not only we encountered, but other people were encountered, we created lawcity.com. So we bought more property in Decentraland, same place. This seems to be the growing world where the major professionals and brands are. As I mentioned, JP Morgan's there. There's a fashion district. There's actually a casino district. The Decentraland seems to be the prominent player, but it may not be. So you want to talk about risks. It's kind of like the Facebook, MySpace. Facebook persevered, MySpace is gone. Decentraland, Sandbox, there's a few others, but Decentraland seems to be the world that has the professionals coming to it. And we seem to be helping it because since we launched lawcity.com, we have close to 10 tenants now, different law firms within lawcity.com on different floors of the buildings.
Do you just charge a one-time fee, or you charge monthly rent?
We charge a monthly rent. We charge a build-out fee, and it's been really interesting. We're exploring. We have I mean, frankly, we had to slow it down because we can't build fast enough. So we're actually in the process of developing more towers and really providing just another opportunity for people to dip their toes in with less risk. Because if you don't do it this way, you're buying property and you're trying to build. And right now, it literally is the Wild West out there.
How much would a piece of property near you, where you're at, how much would it cost?
Yeah, so I can only tell you this, Ken, it ranges depending on the Ethereum. So Ethereum is a type of cryptocurrency. I don't know if you're familiar with that. Some of your listeners may be. Ethereum is Ether is the cryptocurrency. It's based on the Ethereum blockchain. But listen to this now, follow me, Ken. Within this world, they have their own currency. They call them tokens. You may have heard this, and that's called mana. So not only does the price of mana go up and down, the price of Ether or Ethereum and the Ethereum blockchain go up and down. So depending on the day you buy could dictate the price of property, but it's anywhere. I don't know if you get a single parcel now, less than $10,000, $15,000. And that's just for the parcel of land. Then to build out could, we're seeing quotes, these builders out there, it's kind of a whole nother category of vocation out there, these digital builders. And so the prices are high right now to build and complicated.
I guess like everything else, it'll go down. As far as the build outs will go down as more people get into it.
Yeah, what we're seeing is there's a lot of digital architects and other people who have this experience that are now moving into this world and seeing opportunities. There's a growth industry there with respect to these vendors. But I can tell you this, Ken, and anybody, this is an important thing for people who don't really are familiar with the metaverse. You don't need virtual goggle glasses to go into Decentraland. You simply go to decentraland.com and you can use your mouse and your cursor to walk around Decentraland and explore. You don't need virtual headsets. And that's important for people to understand that think that could be a barrier to their exploring.
This is just mind blowing to me.
It is, me too. And I got to tell you, the more I think about it, the more I say to myself, I can't believe how fast this is moving. But if you look at other industries, they've done digital concerts. All the big stars, especially during the pandemic, they did digital concerts. In fact, we're starting to see, the crossover now, and this is where it really ties into the legal world. Personal injury obviously is a different type of practice, but if you're anywhere in the contract world, this new world is going to change it. Blockchain technology changes everything. NFTs, non-fungible tokens, the ability to prove something is owned by you and authentic, has changed the game. This technology has changed the game, but every important legal document, Ken, will be an NFT. It will be a digital document that you can prove authentic and who owns it. A will, a driver's license. These will be NFTs. So although, some of this stuff doesn't apply directly to personal injury, I have friends, in fact, we have a legal pioneer or a tenant who's a bankruptcy attorney. We also have another one who's a disability attorney. We have another one who's a family law attorney. They're starting to see these issues regarding assets, being crypto assets or NFTs, and how do we handle them for bankruptcy? How do we handle them for taxation? How do we handle them for separation and divorce? So simply being in the space, not only do you get to explore, you get to start to figure out how this is going to impact all practice areas in the future.
But to me, this has developed a whole new area of practice in and of itself.
Absolutely, because on these, have you heard this phrase, Ken, called smart contracts?
Yes.
These contracts are self-executing. So where we see it in the music industry that have been here in this space, they're getting their royalties automatically based on set criteria or KPIs, and they're getting it automatically in cryptocurrency with no middle person, no transaction fees. And that's part of the allure of this space. The reason they call it Decentraland is it's supposed to be, decentralized, autonomous organization that operates from within. So it's actually changing finance too. Decentralized finance is a concept, and it's changed everything because it's cutting out the banks and the fiat currencies out there.
I guess you're going to get one day where when you settle your case, they just send you crypto.
Yes.
And you have a crypto account to disperse it or something. It's going to be crazy.
It is going to be crazy. There are some companies that are taking payment in crypto. In fact, we will take payment in crypto. We've set it up to take payment in crypto for this project we're working on, lawcity.com, but it's coming. And, a lot of people don't understand the nuances of this, but you are going to need a digital wallet to carry your digital assets. As much as I tried to resist social media, Ken, I didn't like taking pictures of my food or sharing my personal life. You can't resist it in the world. And you can't resist what Metaverse is going to bring to the world. I mean, if anybody is not focused or at least thinking about this in their strategic planning, they have a blind spot.
Wow, man. Yeah.
You really got to suspend reality in a sec. And I tell people, pop off your head, take your brain, put it on the desk next to you, and rethink this from a marketing advertising perspective, not just in the legal world. You know about targeting marketing. You know that the circular you get may be different than your neighbor down the street, right? But that's what's going to happen in these worlds. So when you walk down in your avatar down the street, you're going to be seeing a completely different landscape than the next person. Wild, right? Because it's going to be feeding you the things that you're into. Like, I know you like karaoke, right? So you're going to see signs for karaoke come in here, but I'm not going to see it because that's not part of my profile. And that's how they're using marketing today, but they're going to use it in the space too. So a lot of content marketers and other marketers are really going to change how they approach this, because people are exploring. It's about an experience, Ken. This metaverse is about an experience. I'll give you an example. The Australian Open, they created within Decentraland. Again, this is the world that seems to be hanging on and being the prominent player. The Australian Open created a replica facility, courts, common areas. And then what they did is they marked off portions of the actual tennis court, and they created a digital tennis court, and you could buy squares of the digital tennis courts, which would be physical, locations in the digital tennis court, and they were NFTs that you owned. Now, if a winning point was scored in the Australian Open and the ball hit that particular square on the real court that corresponded to your digital court, they would send you a ball autographed in a nice case because the winning point was scored on the digital plot that you owned. So this is how, they're being created in trying to blend the physical and the digital world to create experiences. I think the Rangers playoff tickets were NFTs, by the way, and they tied that to different events. So, almost all your tickets will be NFTs because we talked about smart contracts, Ken. These NFTs can also prevent scalpers from raising the price too high because the ticket can't transfer at a certain price. Very interesting.
Yeah, that is very. So what would be your advice to lawyers out there that are listening to this?
Do your homework. Don't ignore this, even if you're not into it. For example, I can tell you, my daughter has the virtual headgear. And again, you don't need that to get on some of these worlds. I get nauseous as hell from that thing. Okay, it's not for me. Even staring at a computer screen for too long, walking around in these worlds without the headgear, not for me. But yet, I told you, 100,000 people were at Fashion Week. They're here, they're coming. If you're interested, or even if you're not interested, start paying attention to the articles and the terminology. Because like anything else, you need to know the vocabulary to have an understanding of the concepts. And the vocabulary surrounding this technology is significant. Blockchain, NFT, smart contract, cryptocurrency. You need to understand at least generally these concepts before you even consider trying to get into this space.
And I'm sure there's somebody out there throwing on a seminar about this somewhere. I know there's got to be.
I know I've been doing tons of interviews on it for sure. And yes, I know that you will start seeing, Ken, we're going to be talking, I think in Ohio, their CLE course, they're starting to now incorporate metaverse discussions. And like I said, it's not just a marketing play. You're going to need to know these concepts, maybe not in personal injury right away, but in so many other areas of the law. NFTs, smart contracts are going to be critical.
So if somebody wants to get up with you and contact you, Richard, they might want to buy one of your buildings or rent one of your buildings. How can they get up with you?
Best thing is lawcity.com. Lawcity.com. If you go to the website, it really lays out what we're doing, Ken, and it provides a contact area. My email is rgrungo@lawcity.com. I also have my law firm email, rgrungo@gcinjurylaw.com. But I'm happy to talk to anyone about this, Ken. And what I tell everybody, because a lot of people come up to you and either they say you're crazy, this is nonsense, I can't even believe this is a reality. Well, it is. And other people are really interested, and some people have some knowledge. I'm happy to talk to all of them, but to me, I'm not convincing anyone or trying to convince anyone. This is either you see what's coming or you don't. But I know that if I could go back in time with a little bit more knowledge about the internet or social media, I might have done things a little bit differently.
Absolutely. He who is first usually makes the biggest splash. I mean, we saw that with lawyers that went out and started doing TikTok. they made millions because they were the first ones in. Now all the other lawyers are catching up, just like the internet. I remember when these young kids were coming in there, they understood the internet. They understood how to they were getting these big trucking cases. I know several of these guys, they were killing it in certain areas before the other lawyers even had a chance to know it. And they were so far ahead. And now the URL is so far ahead that they really still got staying power. Of course, it's leveled up a little bit. Just like you say, every part of it, those that got in social media quicker or whatever, and whoever gets in this the first, I think is going to be the winner too.
It's the opportunity to make mistakes first. And we've already made plenty of them in the space. Because like I said, there is a lot of risk involved. There's also a lot of lack of uniformity. These different worlds have different rules, these transfer rates, it really is, it's just not uniform yet. It's not like, now we have USB ports where almost anything can, universal serial, but you can plug everywhere. It's not there yet. Will it come? Sure it will. So yeah, it's cumbersome. It's risky to a degree, but if you're paying attention, there is opportunity here. And as I like to say, boundless opportunity, because you're really only limited by your imagination. It's a different world.
Appreciate you taking time. And I know you've done a lot of interviews on this. And the other deal is too, when you do something like this, I guarantee you've got PI cases or other type of cases or referrals just by getting all your name out here because you were somebody that was a groundbreaker. I know you had to.
Of course, I'm talking to more people all the time. And what's life about? Relationship, professionally and personally. How's the world go around? We make good relationships, right? We want to refer cases to people we like and know and do business with people we like and know. So yes, it's another opportunity to develop relationships, and we're taking advantage of it for sure.
Smart businessman. That's all I can tell you.
Trying.
All right. Well, listen, thank you so much. And that'll do it for this episode. Until the next time, this is Ken Hardison, dedicated to your success.
Take care, Ken. Thank you.
Thank you, buddy. Take care.
You have been listening to the Grow Your Law Firm podcast, the podcast that leads lawyers to more growth, profit, and freedom. Go to growyourlawfirm.com to find more ways to market and manage your law firm. Please leave us a rating and review wherever you listen to your podcasts.